everyone, Yas que kalos to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. Today I have a quick and easy weeknight dinner that comes together in under 30 minutes and goes good with everything. School has started around here, so this pesto pasta that I'm making with grape tomatoes and roasted red peppers. You can add whatever you have on hand. It's just a bunch of very simple, fresh ingredients that come together to make this delicious pasta. Let's get started. Okay, we're gonna begin by making the pesto because homemade pesto, nothing beats it. If you have store-bought pesto, you can skip this step, but I'm making more than I need because I love using pesto for other things too. So first I'm gonna begin by adding 2 garlic cloves to my food processor, pulse them a few times until they're finely chopped, and then I've rinsed and passed the basil leaves through a salad spinner to get the water off. This is 6 ounces of fresh basil leaves. They're just gonna go into the food processor right now with about a 1/4 cup of walnuts. I love walnuts over pine nuts. I know pine nuts are really popular in pesto. They're so expensive and walnuts to me just taste better. So the walnuts are going in here with about 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese, and we're just gonna pulse this a few times until everything is finely chopped. And then I'm gonna stream in really good quality olive oil. Keep pouring the olive oil in there until the mixture is nice and thick and sort of smooth. My food processor doesn't really get it too smooth, but this is good enough. I like the pesto to have a little bit of texture to it. If you want to use a Vitamix blender to get it super smooth, you can do that too. It's totally up to you. The pesto is ready. I have a big pot of water that's about to come to a boil over here, and it's boiling right now, so I'll season it with 2 to 3 tablespoons of salt, and I'll cook the rigatoni pasta in here. This is a pound of pasta, and I love using the rigatoni pasta just because it holds the sauce really well. Ziti is a good substitute, and penne pasta will work, but really your favorite pasta will work over here. It doesn't matter. The pasta is going to take 10 to 11 minutes to cook. In the meantime, I have my pot heating over here over medium-high heat. I'll add 2 cups of grape tomatoes to it with olive oil. These are going to cook for about 3 to 4 minutes or until they begin to blister, and then I'll turn the heat off and let them sit in there while the pasta cooks. So when the pasta is ready, I'm not going to really do what I normally do, which is drain it in my sink in a colander. I'm going to use a spider strainer and just lift it out of the water so I can get some of that water in the pot too. And I'll just put all of the pasta into the pot with the tomatoes. If you want the tomatoes to hold their shape, then you can just take them out of the pot at this point and just reserve them and put them in the pasta in the end. But I like it when they kind of melt in there, and then I have some big pieces in there too. It's just a combination of textures and flavors that taste really good to me. So the pasta is gonna go in there, and then the pesto is gonna go in next. So you can put as much pesto as you want in here. I'm gonna go with about a cup of it, so just 3 big scoops of this, and if it looks like it needs more, I'll add more afterwards. I also roughly chopped some roasted red peppers from the jar, and those are gonna go in at this point too, and then I'm gonna crumble in a big square of feta cheese. This is 6 to 8 ounces, so you can put as much feta as your heart desires. If you don't like feta, fresh mozzarella goes really well in this. So if you have fresh mozzarella cubes, you can just throw them in here right now. Toss the pasta around so it's coated in that luscious pesto. And then at this point, I'm gonna thin the sauce out with some of that pasta water. And I'm gonna save that pasta water until I serve the pasta tonight when I have to reheat this. If I'm making this just straight away and serving it to my family, then I'm gonna save the pasta water until I wash the pot. But if you're making it earlier in the daytime and you're serving this later on, save the pasta water so that way you can thin out the sauce a little bit later on when you're gonna reheat it. So this is just gonna heat through for about 5 minutes and give it a little taste. You can season it with more freshly cracked black pepper. If it needs some salt, you can season it at this point. If you like crushed red pepper flakes, you could throw a few in there too, but it's ready to serve. And there you have it, just like that, the pasta is ready. I love using fresh homemade basil pesto. If you can do it, make it at home because I really tried so many brands, and none of the basil pestos taste as good as when you make it fresh at home. Anytime I make it, I make a double batch just because it makes it so much easier to have on hand. I can make little pesto pizzas, and you can just stir it in anything, and it tastes delicious. My kids also like to dip chips in there. So good, so fresh, so delicious. But if you don't have it or you don't have the time to make it and you have basil pesto that you need to use up that's been sitting in your fridge, this is a great opportunity to use up things that are in your fridge to make this pasta dish. You can also definitely use Kalamata olives instead of the roasted red peppers. That was my original recipe. And then the olives that I had went bad. We just came back from Greece and I didn't check before I cooked this recipe up, so I quickly substituted the roasted red peppers, and my goodness, it goes so well with the pesto. Pesto is very rich, and the roasted red peppers and the tomatoes really lighten it a little bit, make it a little bit creamier. Feta and pesto are like a match made in heaven, if you don't already know. Let's do a little taste test. And I love using this pasta, rigatoni, because it has little grooves in it and little ridges, and the sauce gets trapped in there and fully coats the pasta. I love that. So good. Oh my goodness. That pesto with the feta, it's like heaven. This goes good with anything. If you have grilled chicken ready, or you can definitely grill some chicken or roast it and either shred it in or put it on the side or chop it up and put it in here. Shrimp is really good with this too. Let me know how you're serving it in the comment section down below. If you've made it ahead of time and you know that pasta really soaks up that sauce, it's gonna dry up and it's not gonna have any sauce. So reserve more of that pasta water, and when you warm it through, just pour some of that pasta water in there. A whole cup won't be too much for this, for reheating, because it's gonna loosen up the pesto and make more of a sauce, and it's just gonna be delicious. I hope you guys give this recipe a try. You can print it out on the website, dimitrasdishes.com. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I'll see you all next time. Yes, yes.